My name's Alicia and I run Pacific Equine Bodyworks. I do deep tissue sports massage type therapy, and I work a lot with just regular day-to-day maintaining range of motion on our horses, or I can go as far as helping with rehab plans and bringing horses back from injury and all that kind of stuff. Today I'm just going to show you how to do a couple of stretches on your horse. I'm going to use Junior here, one of our ponies, and the stretches throughout the winter will just help your horse maintain that range of motion so that when the springtime comes, it's not such a big deal to get back into harder work. So the first one we're going to do is a front leg stretch for them, and it's going to work his shoulders and his pectorals. They have 3 pectorals, one ascending, one in between his front legs, and then where our girth sits is his deep pectoral. So for this one, what we're going to do is ask him to pick up his leg. And body mechanics are really important while you're doing stretches, especially for people who have back problems. So I like to lean on my own knee like that. And then what I'm going to do is, I don't want this angle to be that close. So I'm going to open this angle as much as he will let me before he puts it down. My inside hand is going to reach around and grab his elbow. And all I'm going to do is ask him to stretch that forward like this. So this is stretching everything where the girth goes, where our leg goes, all those muscles. And I'm going to hold it for 5 to 10 seconds and then come back. If you want to do it a second time, you can do it a second time. Good. And then what we're going to do is, if your horse wants to put their foot down before you do the next one, that's fine. Most horses are okay. I will do this one from the side and then from the front so you can see both. So from the side, what we're going to do is we want to move his leg out, but we want to really protect his knee joint. Because if I just pull on his fetlock here, I'm going to really put torque on that knee. So what I'm going to do, I'll do it this way, is that my hand again is going to go inside, and I'm holding that whole forelimb so that when I pull out, I'm pulling the whole leg, not just the knee joint. So I'm protecting that knee. And same again, I'm going to hold it 5 to 10 seconds, let it in, and then bring it out again for a second time. Okay, the last one, we're going to be stretching all of this ascending pectoral and the bicep that goes into their shoulders. So what I'm going to do is, again, I lean on my knee, and this angle is as open as the horse will allow it to be. And I'm going to put my hand on his knee and ask him to stretch it back. Most horses do not like this because a lot of horses are really tight here. So if I can get 3 seconds of that hold out of a horse, I'm pretty happy. There we go. And then slowly he's letting me do more. Okay, and then I'll let him have it back. So for stretches, we always want to do it on a warm muscle. When blood is flowing, the muscle is warmed up so that we are able to change the muscle and make sure that we maintain that range of motion. If it is a cold muscle, you're most likely not going to get that range to begin with, and it might be a lot harder. Junior has not been warmed up. So I bet if I had walked him around for 15 minutes before I did this, I would have had a greater range of motion in all my stretches. So if you can do those after every ride in the winter, because in the winter, most of us only ride 3 or 4 times a week, that would be great. And that would be highly beneficial to your horse's stride, and I'm sure that you will actually notice a change in their stride if you start doing these regularly. Okay, so the next is our hind limb stretches. They are called modified barrier stretches, and they are going to be stretching their hip flexors, their SI joints, their quadriceps that are really important for that forward maximum reach range of motion. If you ever get a horse that's short in the hind end, the quadriceps are the first thing I would go to, and this stretch is something that I would do with those horses. Before we jump to that horse must be lame or it's an abscess or something, I would make sure that these muscles are actually not tight and that we have ruled this out. So this is the stretch that I really give to all my clients. It's really important. It is a little bit harder on your back if you have back problems, but if you are able to do it, doing this exercise or this stretch after a ride is incredibly valuable. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pick up his leg just like the farrier, like I'm picking out his foot, and I'm gonna ask him to swing it back as far as he can. I'm not going to be pulling on that leg to move it backwards. I'm just gonna kind of guide it back. I'm just gonna move Junior up a little bit so you guys can see a bit better. There we go. Okay. You're not gonna be able to stretch like that, buddy. There we go. Okay. So, I'm gonna ask him for this leg back. I'm gonna pick it up, okay? Now again, I'm gonna lean on my own leg so that I'm not as hard, and all I'm gonna do is I'm asking him to guide this out before he'll put it down. Most horses will put it down like that, and that's okay, because I'm not gonna fight them for it. It's stretching all through here, the hip flexors, the psoas, everything, so this is a hard stretch, okay? And then I'm gonna ask him to do it again. Good, okay? So you wanna always wait for him to relax it, and again, I'm just gonna guide it backwards as far as he'll let it go. Good. Now normally I would be standing facing his hind end like this. I would be just as if I'm taking his foot. I just want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So again, I'm leaning on my own arm or on my own knee, and you can see he's really tight. This horse actually does have some pelvic issues, some sacrum issues that are injuries from long past. So this is a hard one for him. Once your horse is comfortable with this, if you want to cross it over until it's in line with his outside limbs, that's a good one too. Increases the stretch through here so much more, okay? Now if the horse needs to put it down before I go to the next stretch, that's okay. This one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him to pick it up. Okay? And I am leaning forward, or I'm pulling it forward just gently, just as far as he will let it go. You can see if I can get my own leg out of the way here so you guys can see. There. So I'm just cupping his fetlock and guiding that leg forward as far as I can. And this is a really deep quadricep stretch. So this is the stretch that ensures the range of motion for those quadriceps so that the horses are stepping up and tracking up as much as they should be, okay? If your horse can only come this far, that's fine. Next time, you might go a little further. I only go as far as the horse is comfortable with because he can't tell me that really hurts or whoa, that's really tight. So I work with his resistance and I'll only go as far as he kind of wants me to. Once the horses figure out what you want to do, you're not the farrier, not the vet, you're not just picking his foot, they actually start to participate quite a bit. And Junior looks like he's about to fall asleep. And so what I ask is that, if you guys can do those after every ride, especially the hind limb ones, they are so good for all these hip flexors, your sacrum, your quadriceps run right here. So that is why the forward stretch is so good for them. And if you ever have a horse that is short stepping, if you go back, there's two bands that run here, your quadriceps. If these guys feel like absolute rock, they should be fairly squishy. If they feel like absolute rock, that's probably where I would start with my problems. And that is when you can always feel free to contact me, ask me about questions, stretches, my horse is really tight here, anything I can do, and then we can go from there. Thanks for having me. And I hope that in the future we'll be able to have a little education clinic, and you guys can all bring your horses, and maybe I can do like a little owner's repertoire of massage and stretches you guys can do. Okay, thank you very much.